Hey you guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're here with an update on Gypsy Rose. We're going to be going over this live stream that she did with her bestie Bree. There are 4 parts and all credit goes to Hello Starlight for screen recording these and sharing them so that we can all have a conversation about how at times interesting some of the things that were said are. But either way, we're going to start at the top. There is about 30 minutes of content, and I'm going to try to do this reaction with not interrupting it every like 5 to 7 seconds, but it'll probably be a longer video. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so let's just start at the top. Bree was the host of this live, and before Gypsy decided to come in, she did have a conversation with Ken, and then Ken and Gypsy were in there for a little while together, and then Ken dropped off and Gypsy started talking. When Bree was having the conversation with Ken, they were talking about the YouTuber Sir Morgue, and I've said before, I don't really know a whole lot about his channel. I know that he covers Gypsy Rose. I've seen him live a couple times, you know, late at night, and I've popped in and said hi to, you know, him in the chat, hung out for a couple minutes, and then have seen my way out. So I don't really know like what the deal with Ken and Bree and Sir Morgue is. I did hear that Ken has had phone calls with Sir Morgue, like offline. So again, I'm not sure, but in case y'all caught those videos, yes, I did hear part of them. I was more interested in kind of the theatrics that Gypsy Rose was doing in this live, so we're going to cover her, but drop your thoughts down below, because again, I don't know a whole lot about the situation, but you can leave your thoughts in this comment section and I will take a look.
If you want to, or if you don't want to, you don't have to, but anything you want to clarify or talk about, I mean, you don't have to, but I just figured you don't come up here often.
I know, I'm just chilling.
Okay. You don't have to.
I haven't,
chill. We don't even have to talk about that,
I haven't been, like, you know, I have not been in live that much.
Yeah.
Like,
you haven't been on social media much.
Yeah, like a combination of, like, yeah, I have my passwords to where I can log in if I want to, but like for posting and stuff like that, I'll make the content and then send it over to my PR team. They will edit it and post it for me. And we do that a lot on a regular. So if there's ever a time that I'm like in the live, yeah, it's me, but I'm probably not going to be there for very long. This is the longest that I've been in a live for a long time.
I know. Well, I'm sure many people are probably glad that you came up. They're always like, tell Gypsy to come up.
Also, I feel like
she wants to be an influencer and she won't even edit her own content. Here's my whole thing. You want to say that you're offline and you're, you know, drinking orange juice and taking your prenatal vitamins and all this kind of stuff. But unfortunately, Gypsy and her PR team have teamed together to try to take commentary channels down by filing false copyright strikes against certain creators. I have always been very vocal about people misusing the copyright strike system in order to silence opinions that are out there that they might not like. They might not be in the person's favor, so they just file a strike and go about it that way. I don't like it. I've never liked it, and I don't care if it's Gypsy. I don't care if it's her PR team. No matter who it is, it's wrong. Content is fair use. Opinions are out there that might not be in your favor. Guess what? You want to be a public figure, you're gonna have to get over it.
It makes me feel more comfortable. So if like he's in there, then I'm more likely to come in there too.
Yeah, I'm glad he came in here. I'm glad he came up here and talked, because that's one thing I do want to stress, y'all. Like, don't go after Ken for wanting to defend Gypsy. Like, of course, like we all have our opinions of Morbid, but I will say this, like, and while he's in the chat, for the most part, I find that they have been respectful to him. Mm-hmm. But
what is it that Ken has really defended Gypsy about? Because I've seen Ken defend himself in his name, in his reputation, and rumors about him, but I don't really see him making videos and getting loud and contacting creators over their opinions on Gypsy. Once he's mentioned, that's where you get Ken being vocal and loud and saying, oh, this is not true, it's not like that, blah, blah, blah. But if it doesn't involve him, I don't see him standing up for her. She released her family reunion video on YouTube, and it was one of the most boring vlogs that I have ever watched. And I've watched my fair share of boring vlogs on YouTube. Their connection or lack thereof, it seems to me like one person is very into it and the other isn't. And it comes off as disingenuous, and it doesn't come off like, you know, these two people are organically in love and want to make things work this time. It doesn't come off like that to me. Ken kind of looks like, well, I'm stuck, you know, and this one's pregnant now, and she got me this $275 ring from Zales, so he's just going to ride it out. And let's be real, money also has a lot to do with it. Right now, Gypsy Rose is making a decent income for herself. And if Ken had the choice to start things again with Gypsy, and let's be real, he's not working a job anymore. He's, you know, living off of her income. Of course he's going to choose to do that. She just so happened to really trap him by getting knocked up.
My only issue ever is that, like, the way they just are so horrible to Gypsy, and y'all know I'm gonna have Gypsy's back regardless. So, and I don't like that. I hate when they speak about her in that way, and it just drives me fucking crazy. But you know, Ken just loves her, y'all, and he just wants to defend his girl, his lady.
Which I think.
And again, I haven't really heard Ken defending her too much. I hear him speaking up when it's something about him, but we know that Brie is loud and annoying and obnoxious about her constantly having to defend Gypsy. Aside from maybe a handful of nasty remarks, and listen, that's just going to happen on social media, period. Who is being so hateful about Gypsy? Because I've seen people calling her out for her inconsistencies, her using Nicholas Godejohn to commit the crime, her going on to be this celebrity when it is not deserved. She's making a lot of money and getting a lot of attention. I see people having issues with that. And aside from maybe a few people saying some nasty things, like, again, that goes back to, like, you're a public figure. So it seems to me like Brie has a problem, even though her username is Brie with the facts. It seems like Brie with the facts doesn't like facts about Gypsy, because she now sees Gypsy as her bestie, and they really haven't known each other for very long, but she is going to ride it on for Gypsy Rose. And it makes her look very bored and unwell.
That's very admirable. And I'm like, you know, I think from my perspective, like, my perspective is very, you know, reality based, where a lot of times I'm kind of like, social media, what we don't see won't hurt us.
Right.
So just kind of live in the present, live in the real life. Like, we have a lot going on. Like, I'm 5 months pregnant. We've got a lot of good things going for us. You know, coming up on a holiday here pretty soon. So I'm like, I'm looking forward to all of these milestone moments.
We have a lot of good things going for us, and he's so admirable. But we have a wrecked home, very obvious infidelity. We have her trapping him with a pregnancy. We have her being a straight up bully to people that she seems to think are enemies of hers. Nothing that Gypsy Rose has done that I have seen has come off as admirable. It has come off like, this is Gypsy's world, and she is going to come through here like a wrecking ball from the time she steps out of prison and ruin anything that she comes in contact with. And the few things that she does find use out of, she will use them until she no longer wants to use them. And then she will throw them down as well. Whether or not anyone wants to admit it, there has been a very clear pattern displayed by Gypsy. from the time of her with Dan, with Nick, with her mother, with Ryan, with Ken the first time, everything is temporary to her. And if you are lucky enough to make it out alive or not in prison after having dealt with Gypsy, then you should consider yourself lucky. And that's why I've said before, I think that Ryan actually got, you know, he was treated unfairly in some ways, even though I still think he's a weirdo and I stand on that. But at least he's not trapped with a baby by Gypsy Rose. At least.
So it's going to be my first since prison. So, you know, I don't want to keep my head in the phone or on social media. I want it to be in the real world, and I want him to feel the same way. So we have had a lot of discussions about social media and about how to be more grounded with reality.
And I'm glad that you're saying that, because, you know, one of the things that people like to perpetuate is that
all this is lip service. She, in my opinion, has been habitually online from the time that she discovered Facebook, way before the crime. She is somebody who is constantly on her phone. I would love to see, like, you want to say you're existing in the real world? Let's see your screen time, because I guarantee her screen time is at least 14 hours a day.
You know, you can't get away from social media, and I will argue these points with people, and sometimes I don't, because it's like not even worth it. But
I hate social media. If it was just my opinion alone, I would have already deleted my TikTok, deleted my Instagram, and went completely off social media. But a lot of people were talking to me and in my ear, it's 10 million followers. Do you realize how big that is? People cannot buy that kind of following. Maybe they can. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But, you know, I got that organically from the time that I got released. My social accounts blew up. And so there are people that tell me you'd be a dumbass if you would delete your socials.
She would not be on social media if she wasn't making money off of it. That is one way you can tell if a content creator is coming from a good place. If they actually have a story to tell and they have content that they want to get out there and they have a message that they want to share, then they will share it even when they are not monetized. There are many creators who sit on platforms for years, putting out their content literally for free, spending hours filming and editing and engaging and doing all the things because they want to make content. And then you have other content creators who will literally crumble at the idea of not making money off of their content. And Gypsy Rose is one of them. If she was not monetized, she would not be on social media. And isn't it funny how she says, oh, you know, people said I was so dumb, I would be so dumb for shutting down my social media. And she listens to them, which I have to assume is Christy and Ken, maybe even Rod. We saw on her show where Ryan Anderson mentioned, hey, you have money that is owed to you from TikTok. Don't shut your channel down because you need that money as part of your parole. And we saw all of that unfold. And Ryan got yelled at. And she had a temper tantrum and a meltdown. But now, months later, we're sitting here and saying, oh, I grew organically. If you didn't unalive your mother, do you think that anybody would want to follow Gypsy Rose on social media? Half of the people are just delulu and want to support her because they want to support her. And the other half are people that are hate watching her. And everybody knows about her because she unalived her mother and she used Nicholas Godejohn to carry it out. That is not organic.
I think there was nothing wrong. There's a lot of people don't realize is that you having a normal job would be, and right now anyway, would be so hard. I witnessed myself at Jazz Fest, the amount of times that people stopped you. Could you imagine working at Walmart or McDonald's?
That was the problem. Even with my prison job, when I was in prison and I was working.
Walmart wouldn't want to hire her. She stole merchandise from them to unalive her mother. Do you think Walmart wants to hire Gypsy Rose? Walmart is too good for Gypsy Rose.
Working as a photographer in the visiting room Like, I had to quit that position and move to a position doing warehouse work inside prison because the families would recognize me and want to talk to me, and they were all nice, but part of the rules was you can't like socialize with other inmates visitors,
Right.
and so I couldn't stand there, take their picture, and then have a whole conversation with them. It was too distracting, so I had to quit that. So like now things are considerably more heightened, so I just don't.
Oh, poor little Gypsy. She wasn't allowed to do her job that she wanted in prison. God, everything is a pity party with this girl.
See that happening for right now, and everybody's like, she doesn't have a job, what is going on? Okay, by parole I have to have a job, and my parole officer does count my book, the documentary, the TV show, you know, everything that even my social media, being an influencer, that counts as a job. So as long as I still have that, that is my income. That is my job.
And the thing is, Gypsy, anybody would have done it. Anybody in your position would have done it. And that's the thing that I was like, just like the plea deal, just like this opportunity, everything that you've done, everything that you've taken, every opportunity that you've grabbed onto,
I don't think that she should have been allowed to come out of prison and automatically do a book and a show and be on social media. There should have been a part of her parole where, no, you're not allowed to just run the social media and do a TV show and become famous. While you are on parole, you need to actually rebuild your life and get a, quote, normal job. Everyone's so scared of having a normal job nowadays. So I don't like the idea of murderers being allowed to come out of prison and do a book and a show and tell their life story on social media and get millions of dollars off of that. I don't think that that should be allowed when you're on parole. Once you're off parole, then, you know, at that point it's kind of whatever. But I don't think that you should be allowed to just, hey, I have this stage to stand on and I'm going to be released from prison and I'm going to walk into millions of people wanting to support me on social media.
In your position would have done the same exact thing.
And I feel like it's not like the things that I'm currently doing, it's not.
No, Bree, anyone in her position would have not unalived their mother. Anyone in her position would not have used Nicholas Godejohn to carry it out so that she could serve this little bit of time, come out and say, well, I didn't commit the act. He did. We have heard it from her time and time again.
Circulating around the crime.
Yes,
like
not
the
at all.
TV show is about my life currently. My social media, there's not one thing posted about the crime on my social media. How am I profiting off of the crime? Because that's what I'm known for. I'm trying to change that. If people would just give me the chance to prove that, hey,
Well, now what you're known for is wrecking homes and being unfaithful and trapping men with babies, and in my opinion it will lead into being a child exploiter. That is going to be the thing, because she knows she can still stand on the side and be like, oh, well, I'm not talking about the crime, even though she has since she came out. There have been posts that have podcasts and stuff that have talked about the crime, but if she wants to talk about just the last couple of months, no, you're known for being a murderer and a homewrecker and a manipulator. So it just keeps stacking up.
can go from being known, infamous, to being known for doing something better with her life. And that's my point on social media.
It's not going to happen overnight.
It's not going to happen overnight. And I am so...
Doing something better with her life. What better have you done? Try to tell people how to cook spaghetti that's pre-cooked? Try to tell people that, hey, if you marry someone and you use them so that you can look good in front of the parole board and then you're sick and tired of them, just go ahead and kick them to the side. No problem.
Finding, like, what is my niche? What is my purpose? When I first came out, I wanted to advocate. But, people like Mina and...
Your purpose is a wrecking ball. That is your purpose, Gypsy Rose, and we all see it.
And Morbid and all of these content creators slam me down, and I'm human. That's going to get to me. So what else do I have? Okay.
So the person that doesn't care about anything and is never online and never looks at anything that's being said about her is very familiar with specific topics that Morbid and Nina talk about, and all of these other content creators. But I thought you weren't online. I thought you filmed videos and just send it to your PR. I thought you're busy taking your prenatal vitamins and drinking enough water. See, Gypsy thinks that she's a good liar, but in fact, she's a very bad liar because she exposes herself. You just have to give her a little time. And sometimes it happens in the same live stream.
I'm going to showcase my life, putting on my makeup, doing my daily routine, because that's what's fun to me. Now, is there a time to get serious? Absolutely. But I'm trying to figure out.
Okay, but what is your daily routine? Because from my seat, what I've seen is you sit on your ass all day. You're not doing anything. You sit at home and you wait for, at first it was Ryan, then you're waiting for Ken, you're busy abandoning dogs. What is your day to day? You put on makeup and you wait for Ken to call you? That's content?
At the time and place and the proper way to go about that.
And you have every right to do that. What I try to tell people a lot of times is that so you always said you wanted to advocate. There are other things you're passionate about, not just what you went through. So
right.
That's for one. For two, you're allowed to change your mind. And not that you have, but you're allowed to. So three, you also, just because you say you're going to do something, it doesn't mean it has to be the next day. If you decide 4 years from now to start advocating.
So now Bree's trying to tell her, oh, well, you can change your mind and you can put things off. But Gypsy already said that it was because she was slammed down by content creators. So it's not oh, I'm waiting, or, oh, I feel differently. She has already said that even though she's never online, she is very bothered by what the public opinion is.
You're allowed to do that. And that there's no time frame, and no one should expect there to be one. And that's, at the end of the day, that's just what it is. Like, a lot of people expect you to come out and be perfect.
Maybe there's things going on behind the scenes that I have not even talked about yet. That only I know and privileged people know about that area in my life. There are things that will come to pass.
Number one, I think she's lying. I don't think anything's going on behind the scenes that has anything to do with anything aside from making her more money. But it's funny how she wants to talk about, oh, only certain people know. Gypsy should know better now. The call is coming from inside the house. Who do you think told other people that she was having a girl way ahead of time? The call is coming from inside the house. And you still think these people that you have your close little circle with, oh, everyone knows like Gypsy's little secrets. They are exposing you. Obviously.
That's what I always tell people. Y'all do not know all the details. Y'all do not, just like your show. Gosh, that show could have been freaking 20 episodes, okay? Like, they so much into 8 episodes. Like, you and Ken's relationship was what, 2 episode and a half? Like, 2 episodes, whatever?
Barely. Like, it was the breakup, and then it was like,
boom,
us reconnecting. But I even had a conversation with Lifetime because there was, we filmed, they were at my house whenever I made the donation to Make-A-Wish. And I still have the receipt from that. Like, I sent it to you if you remember. Yeah. And I was disappointed that they didn't show that, because I'm like, that was something that I wanted to do. That was something that was on my heart. And all these haters are like, did she make a donation? And then went into so much as to try to message Make-A-Wish, asking if I did or if I didn't. I did. I have the receipt. But I'm not bragging about it. That's not why I did it.
Said, no. That's what they would have said if you would have showed it anyway.
I'm damned if I do. I'm damned if I don't.
Exactly.
So she's upset that Lifetime wouldn't show her donating to Make-A-Wish. She says that she sent a receipt to Bree. Why are you sending a receipt to Bree? If you wanted everyone to know about it and you have easy access to said receipt, show the receipt. See, that's the thing. People want to repay and donate and be the better person and right their wrongs when cameras are involved, when it might make it onto the show, if it might prove somebody wrong, and you're upset that it wasn't aired. If you're doing it for your own intent and your own heart and soul, who cares if it was aired on TV? And if you really feel the need to prove people wrong, then why are you holding this receipt hostage? Show the receipt, if it exists. You're not bragging about it, but you were upset that it wasn't shown on your TV show. That seems very, very self-serving. That seems very much like I am going to do this so that people think one way about me. And here's the thing. People would not have been so quick to call into question if you actually had trust with people. But Gypsy Rose is a known liar. And that's why anything she says, unless it does have a receipt attached to it, people are going to question it. And they might contact the charity or dig a little deeper. Because when you are a liar, people are going to think that you might be lying. 1 and 1 is 2.
Which is
You
why
know how many times I've said that?
My
I have
what?
said, that girl's damned if she does, she's damned if she don't. A lot of the stuff that Bree is saying to you,
So why don't you get the f off social media and leave all of us alone? If you really feel that way, instead of sitting on this platform that's paying you money, if you are so bothered by the public opinion about you, then get off social media. But it all goes back to money. It's all about money. It's all about, as long as this platform is paying me, I'm going to continue to utilize it. And then I'm going to sit and say that I hate social media and everyone's so mean and haters this and content creators that. What a show.
I've heard her say before to ignorant people. I've heard her say these same things to ignorant people. And I've said before too, I said, I'm sure Gypsy is making money. I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but she's not making money off the crime. So stop.
Right. See, those
Nobody needs to worry about
videos, they
your
are all
bank
about
account.
makeup and stuff like that.
Nobody needs to worry
making
about
money
your
off the
bank
crime,
account but
these
you.
creators, they're making money off the crime. Like putting out absolutely disgusting.
Well, guess what? None of us would be here if she didn't kill her mother. How about that? None of us would be here talking about any of this if she didn't make the decision to unalive her mother.
If anybody's profiting off of anything, it's them, not Gypsy. Gypsy does not ever mention
Gypsy,
that.
I have a petition. Can Bree get like one more half a frog?
Listen to this right here. Gypsy's accent completely changes. The way that she's speaking completely changes. I always find this very interesting because it's like you are so quick to completely change your personality all because of the conversation now going to talking about frog legs. Just listen to this and tell me how y'all feel about it.
Yes. She can get a billion frog legs.
Oh, yeah, Gypsy. Everybody, how much, Gypsy, do I get paid by you?
Only on frog legs.
Oh, no, I've been telling y'all, and she bought me a grill. But other than that, like, oh my God, the people that say that, what's funny, when I go to comment sections, anybody who's taken up for you, it can be someone that doesn't know you from, like, just madam, okay? And they're like, you're getting paid by Gypsy. I'm like, Gypsy gonna be broke, okay? Gypsy is gonna be broke within the next year because she's just paying so many people. And it just is so refreshing to when I get people, like today, somebody came up and I don't know if you were in here, but they were like apologizing to me, which I said, don't apologize, but they were apologizing to me for.
And how funny is it that on this live stream, Bree wants to say, oh, well, everyone else is profiting off the crime. Gypsy doesn't talk about the crime. In the top of this is literally Nicholas Godejohn's photo. But nobody talks about the crime, right? then why are you utilizing Nick's photo on your channel?
Same, just like Ken said, I know people think that I'm over here trying to change people's mind. I mean, yeah, that's hopefully, but really, when I started doing this before I even met Gypsy, I started researching something completely different. You know, I seen Fancy Maselli and I was like, holy shit, what is this woman doing? And I was digging, found a bunch of crazy crap. And then in the process got to know Gypsy I never got to know her yet at the time, but got to know her through what I can see.
It's really scary that she sits there and she's like, oh, well, I got to know Gypsy. Not really, but through what I was reading. How on earth could you read about what she did and actually walk away from that and say, this is a good person. This is somebody who I want to be friends with and I want to spend 12 hours a day defending their name. Can't relate.
Fine. And I saw the shift in the public opinion, the popular opinion became, what it is now. And I don't know, it just blew my mind away, how much the world lacked empathy for her.
No, because here's the thing we're not going to do. We don't need to have empathy for somebody that unalived their mother and then has come out to become a millionaire and profited and made so much money off of these platforms. And you want to sit there and say that people are being unfair and people need to change their minds and they need to come to the bright side. And, no, we are going off facts. And some people had a fair amount of empathy for her right when she got released. I was one of those people. I held space for her. But so quickly, I saw exactly what was happening and I was appalled and shocked at the celebrity status that she was given literal days after being released. And that's why a lot of people decided to go to the dark side or whatever she's trying to say here. People became more educated of the details of the crime and saw how she was being treated days after being released from prison and said, this is not really the side that I want to be on. And I'm going to go over to where people are fact-based and calling this out for the atrocious mess that it actually is.
And when I say, ever since I met Gypsy, and I always tell y'all this, she's always been an open book. She's always been what I feel honest. I mean, not everybody has to agree with me, of course, but I'm so sorry. The reason I'm only letting people that have been here all the time because we're not going to have anybody come up in here and say anything. So I don't know. I don't know if y'all are bad witch or good witch, but has always been, my heart has always been to speak the truth on her. And even if
see, Brie does this thing where she acts like she's willing to hear other perspectives or maybe have a conversation, but she will literally sit on the live stream and say, oh, well, you're not allowed in here because I don't know if you're a good witch or a bad witch. And she'll block people from sharing facts and saying, we don't like Gypsy, we don't respect this is how we feel. She spends hours every single day defending an unaliver.
That means the truth is ugly, even if the truth's ugly. I've spoken on the things that I don't agree with, and a lot of people think that I just sit over here and just make up stories, but that's not the case. I just want the truth to be out there, and it's not just for Gypsy, it's for anybody involved in this crime. Or
you know what's not very kind? Everything that Gypsy Rose has done. That's what's not very kind in my eyes. So maybe I'm an unpopular opinion and that's okay, but kind and Gypsy Rose will never go into the same sentence for me. I want to kind of get through this, so let's go to part 2. I think part 2 and part 4 are relatively short, but there is one more that is a little bit longer. Yeah, because I've already been filming for almost 40 minutes.
Brie, what happens if I go as a possum for Halloween?
Oh my God, people, you should. People would die. Dr. You and Kate,
Gypsy, it makes sense. You have a baby in the pouch.
I know, and people think that it's an insult to me, but my aunt has been calling me possum since I was born, and so I'm like, I laugh at it. I'm like, I see the resemblance. I think my eyes look like possum eyes, so I agree.
Well, if you do
They're
Gypsy,
so
just
cute.
make sure you hang upside down by your tail in a tree.
You can make a tail and everything.
Send us a
Oh my
picture.
goodness.
And make sure Bree gets to touch the tail.
You know what? I think that'd be so. You should even if you don't, you can dress up more.
It's really funny because she talks about that like it's something lighthearted, but like people in the comments, they're saying Gypsy Rose is so bold. She loves to insert facts like everything is okay. Her aunt can't stand her. Gypsy Rose doesn't need to dress up for Halloween. She's a walking, talking horror show. Someone else said your aunt hated you just like everyone else.
One thing you can do like 2 different costumes. I think you totally should, and like you should make a video of you in the possum costume, because you know that's the best thing when people think that you're bothered by something when you're not, and they're like, I shared that because when I was at the gender reveal, you know, we talked about this, and you were like, I think it's cute, and I said, I was like, I told y'all, like, she don't care about that. It's not that kind. It's so cute. I think it's cute. I don't even see it as an insult.
I think Lucky needs to be the mascot for your lives, Bree.
I know. We should get a little picture.
put it on here
We
a
definitely
few
need a
times.
sticker. We need to get a
But what
good
about
picture
the
of
koala? The koala would be jealous.
No. Well, you know what? What's crazy is I wish they don't have a possum on filter. They should have one, huh? Plans for this week. I'm away the hurricane, so
Yeah, the hurricane's really kind of definitely blocking out this week. I was supposed to have couples therapy with.
So the hurricane messed up your whole week of what? Putting makeup on and waiting for Ken to come over or text you or call you? Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't understand. Like, Gypsy Rose wants to be this like a lifestyle influencer, but like, what do you do all day? Because based on what we've seen is you put on makeup, you sit around your house, you scroll on social media, and you reheat pasta and call it spaghetti. Oh, and I have to give her credit. She will go to Starbucks and taste test a pumpkin spice latte.
with Ken on Friday, but they canceled because of the storm. So,
Because all couples need therapy. That's why.
oh yeah.
oh my god!
I mean,
yeah.
it's this wonderful place in New Orleans.
Therapy. That's gonna be the next headline.
Yes, all couples need therapy.
For real.
Yeah, I mean, it's a parenting couples therapy, so it's called
It's really funny how she says that she's pro therapy, but she did not take any therapy when it was offered to her in prison. And again, I don't want to like put anything under its super duper microscope, but my kind of common sense way of looking at this would be, you would think that if she was so horribly treated by Dee Dee, where she had to unalive her in order to escape, which, you know, we know that is not factually the way things have been laid out. But let's just say that we're going off of Gypsy's retelling of the story. Then wouldn't you immediately get to prison, and if therapy is offered to you, say, yes, I really need to unpack some of the trauma that my mother put me through. I need to unpack some of the hurt that I was exposed to because of her. But she denied it. I also find it funny how she is in therapy with Ken, but literally didn't give an ounce of energy to try to save her marriage to Ryan. Like, it's just very obvious. She did what she wanted. She didn't care about the destruction that was left behind. She didn't care about any of that. And it's Gypsy's world. And when she's done with you, she is going to, you know, throw you into the garbage.
I mean, it's a parenting couples therapy, so it's called Rebirth, and it's this place in New Orleans that offers like couples therapy.
Okay, new parents therapy. Hopefully this therapist is saying, don't become a family vlogger. Don't exploit your child. Please keep your child off social media. We know that it's going to get you a bunch of money and a bunch of followers, but for once, let's not do something that's self-serving. I know for a fact she's going to become a mommy vlogger.
Therapy, but it's like a parenting couples therapy type of thing. So, you know, I figured I'm like, we're going through a lot, like with this pregnancy, I'm still going through the divorce. So I'm like, we're new parents. We're newly back together after a 5-year separation. And I'm like, I think that I'm very pro therapy, so I'm in individual therapy, and I'm like, why not let's do couples therapy, you know?
Pro therapy, y'all. She said she's pro therapy.
Guys, but the things that they say I lie about, they're just because I don't say the same thing verbatim. Like when I went fishing, and
She is really focusing on the most minuscule, stupid thing that people have called her out about. It's far outside of fishing and crabbing, and she knows it, but that is part of her manipulation marketing plan. And people in this chat are stroking her ego and saying how proud they are, and oh, she's just doing all of the good things. It is alarming the way that people just eat up exactly what she's serving.
fishing experience with Ken. And then Nina was like, well, why couldn't she just say that she's been fishing before? She's lying. She went crabbing with her dad. Okay, fishing and crabbing are two different things. I've never held a damn fishing pole before. That was my first time.
You can't do anything without Nina saying something.
I know, and I've just learned that. I'm like, I've just kind of accepted that point, that I'm like, I can say, this is my first time doing this, and then they'll go and
that's the other thing, like when people say that they are proud of her, what is there to be proud of? Because even if we're not talking about the crime, what has she done since her release that there is to be proud of? All I've seen is mess, lies, bullying people, infidelity. Like, there's literally nothing to be proud of. Are you proud of her trapping Ken with a baby? Are you proud of her wrecking her home? Are you proud of her abandoning her dog? Are you proud of her just creating a circus? Maybe that's what she's proud of. Creating a circus.
Please, could you please, I don't mean to cut you off, but could you please verify your account? I see this going on in the chat down there, please.
I'm working on it. It wasn't me that initially got me verified. It was Lifetime. So since Lifetime has their own PR, and so their PR, while we were filming, went ahead and got my TikTok verified. And when I changed my username, that's when I lost my verified check mark.
Gypsy, I actually unmuted to tell you thank you for getting on here, and thank you for being so strong. And this whole group here has your back regardless, and just you have to just block it out with
these people saying how, oh, we've got your back, oh, we're so, you just keep doing you and blah blah. Like, I wonder if all of the people that have zero intelligence on what it takes to be a good person, maybe they've all just congregated and said, we're just going to hang out with each other because we are so enthralled by this mother murderer, and we might look, I don't know, it's weird.
Well, I know Ken wants to, I get it, well, he has no opposition here. Mm-hmm. But we can invite opposition. At least we can always invite opposition.
I don't know about that, Bree.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I can keep my mouth shut.
Invite opposition to come every day, but I'm talking about if you ever needed a safe space to debate opposition.
with Ken. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm saying just because I know that over here we're not going to tolerate certain things, and I don't care what people say about it. There's certain.
I don't know if I could keep my mouth shut. Really, Gypsy? Really? Really? You don't go against anyone. You just file false strikes against people's channels. And then you run back over here to your fan club of, 8 people and allow them to stroke your ego. Invites opposition and then says that we're not going to tolerate certain things. What certain things? Anything that is against Gypsy, you're not going to tolerate, then that's not inviting opposition. You're only wanting things that you approve of. So where is the opposing anything in that?
It's Suicide Awareness Month, and that's why I had that thing at the bottom. It says L on top of it. That's Clancy. Well, Bunny, she's in here all the time. That's her best friend's daughter, and today's her birthday. But anyway, so yeah, so I just wanted to.
I really hate how Brie threw in that suicide awareness thing. Like, who is being bullied? Because anyone that is actively being bullied should, number one, file a police report, and number two, get off social media. From what I've seen, I don't see anyone bullying Gypsy. She has way more support than she deserves.
I was trying to trim my eyebrows a little better, and I end up taking half of one off, and so
Okay, I've had enough. I'm tapping out. I can't do this anymore. I will insert at the very end her little tangent about privacy, even though I've already dissected that and covered it. Don't ask for privacy when you're a public figure. You are shoving you and your Ken's life down everyone's throats, and then you're claiming that you're being bombarded. Please. Again, I don't believe a word she says. I think that it's just it's a freaking disaster.
No, do you know how embarrassed I was at the family reunion? Because and I know I made that post and I got made fun of a lot, but it was really hard because I was trying to just have the family reunion. And there was this part of the beach, it was a lake beach thing. I don't know how to describe it. There was sand there, and it was not the ocean.
It was not the ocean.
It was not the ocean. God, it's the bayou in a sense.
I was wrong.
But there was people always coming up to me, and then I took a picture, a couple of selfies with some girls that came up to me. But then I was starting to head towards where we were having the gathering. And one girl came up to me, I took a picture with her, but then they swarmed me on both sides. And I said, hey everybody, I'd love to take a picture with everybody, but I'm at a family gathering. I just can't right now. And they all left. And then that's when family members started to kind of recognize that they needed to kind of say something and kind of just have a little bit more of their caution up. And so a couple of family members hey, keep on walking or whatever. And I didn't tell them to say anything to people. But it's we're having a family gathering. I don't want the attention to be on me. This is for everybody. I'm just a guest. And then somebody wrote in a comment, well, why didn't you just not go if you thought that it was going to be like that? And I'm because I'm family too. Why should I have to give up meeting my family and extended family because people are not respectful and they don't understand or comprehend there's a time, there's a place. If I was at the mall, I'll take a selfie with you. I appreciate the support. But when I'm trying to be a face in the crowd and just be with my family, that's not appropriate.
And you had people putting your location on the internet.
Yes, exactly. I don't remember what her name was, but she said where I was going to be as I was there.
Not nice. That is not nice.
Not.
And wasn't there little kids there in your family too?
Yeah, there's babies, there's toddlers, there's my brother doesn't want anything to do with the social media life. He lives a very private life, and I respect that. And so when I'm trying to build a bond with my brother, because it's we didn't grow up together, but he's married with a family. And so we don't get together very often. So I'm trying to build a bond with him. And that's really hard whenever people are constantly invading our space.
And he doesn't want to be out there.
Yes. For me to have that.
Respect him.
Yes.
I survived most of it. So I think I deserve credit for that. I will have more content coming, but yeah, what a wild, wild ride we're on. But we're here to talk about it as always. So if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.